Hi there, fellow science enthusiasts, and welcome to another episode of 300 Seconds of Science. Today's topic of discussion will be on an action you do every day without thinking about it. As a matter of fact, without it, you would not be sitting here watching this episode. Rather, you would be placed in a nice bed 6 feet under the ground. Anyway, as you may have guessed, today's topic is on breathing. First, we will start with the mechanics of breathing. Breathing is essentially the process of moving air in and out of the lungs. When air moves into the lungs, it's called inspiration, and when air moves out, it's called expiration. The movement of air into and out of the lungs results in the transportation of oxygen to the body's cells in order to keep them functioning, as well as clear your body of the carbon dioxide generated by this process. In order for this function to be carried out daily, there are different components that play a role in the process. One of these components is the respiratory system. The respiratory system is composed of smaller components, each of which are responsible for carrying out certain functions. The smaller components include the structures and tissues that make up the lungs, along with other respiratory organs connected to them, which include the trachea, bronchi, nasal cavity, and the diaphragm. All the parts listed above combine to form what you may consider the machine that helps you breathe. However, to start the machine and keep it going, the autonomic nervous system also plays an important role. You can think of the autonomic nervous system as the brain's unconscious control center for all the key functions. When your body is ready to take in air, the autonomic nervous system sends a signal to your lungs, which flattens your lungs and contracts the intercostal muscles between your ribs. This creates more space for the lungs to expand. The air then goes into your nose and mouth through the trachea and into the bronchi that split at the base of the trachea, with each one entering a lung. Similar to tree branches, these small tubes split into thousands of smaller passages called bronchioles. The end of each bronchiole is a little air sac called an alveolus. The alveolus is encased in capillaries filled with red blood cells. These red blood cells hold proteins known as hemoglobin. The air you take in fills your lungs, causing them to inflate. Afterwards, a crucial exchange occurs. More specifically, the capillaries that are currently packed with carbon dioxide and the air sacs that are filled with oxygen. Thus, due to the process of diffusion, the molecules move into an area where there is a lower concentration of their kind. As a result, oxygen crosses over to the capillaries and the hemoglobin absorbs it while the carbon dioxide is unloaded into the lungs. Next, the oxygen-rich hemoglobin is transported throughout the body through the bloodstream. In addition, all carbon dioxide that is left in the lungs is exhaled. Lastly, the autonomic nervous system causes the diaphragm to contract and causes the intercostal muscles to relax. This makes the chest cavity smaller, forcing the lungs to compress, thrusting the carbon dioxide out of the body. This occurs between 15 to 25 times a minute, which totals 10,000 liters of air a day. In addition to playing a vital role in keeping us alive, our breath controls a lot of aspects of our lives. For instance, one particular area in which breathing makes a big impact is your stress level. When you are under stress or anxious, a change in breathing occurs. Your breathing becomes irregular or shallow. This results in a restricted amount of air going into the lungs. However, it is important to note that being conscious of this can be very beneficial in helping reduce stress. For example, according to an article published by the University of Washington, your breath is the key to your body's stress response. As a matter of fact, you can induce a state of panic by having them take shallow breaths. As a result, in order to help alleviate stress, one technique that is recommended includes deep breathing. Now, you may be wondering what deep breathing is. Deep breathing involves taking slower and longer breaths to counter the rapid breaths. Although it seems simple, it is a very involved process. However, practicing the technique successfully can quiet your nervous system in a short period of time. You may be wondering how such a simple technique is so effective. Well, let's get into it. Your autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary actions such as these, is divided into two parts. The two parts include the sympathetic nervous system, in charge of your fight or flight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you rest and relax. Deep breathing allows you to quiet your sympathetic nervous system, which in turn helps reduce your feeling of anxiety or stress. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all at ZTV 300 Seconds of Science. See you next time.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.